Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Pavani Munnuri. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Pavani.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pavani Munnuri, and I'm very much excited to share my journey with you today. I was born and raised in Hyderabad, Telangana, in a very humble family. And I am a first generation graduate, and I've always been motivated by the work and sacrifices my parents have made to support me and my brother in achieving our dreams. And from a very young age, I have been working towards uh, different activities in advancing my career. So through my schooling, I was ranked always the top three students in the class. And also I was a commerce topper in my 12th grade. And I was also the university gold medalist in my bachelor's degree for applied economics. So this is my academics, I can say. But beyond academics as well, I was also a very active participant in athletics and other leadership programs. I was a part of during my middle school. I was a part of 200 meters relay team, and I was later on. I joined in National Cadet Corps under the Army Wing Division. So I participated in a lot of camps, and I was the battalion commander, served as sergeant, and I also won best commander and best cadet award during the Republic Day parade. So these experiences shape my leadership skills, and I can say I'm a very good team player. Uh, while if coming to my initially, my parents have actually persuaded me to enter medicine, but I don't know. I found my true calling in commerce and mathematics. My love for mathematics was since I guess ninth and 10th grade, I can say I discovered it was interesting with numbers. At the same time, I also discovered the subject economics. So economics actually resonated with me well because it was nothing but addressing real world issues and understanding the environment around you. So I ended up choosing economics for my bachelor's degree, which I think was a very great decision. And I cherish this despite being a very less conventional among the peers from the region where I am, because most of my peers opted for either engineering or medicine. So my parents were a bit uh, uh, not really interested when I initially mentioned them about this. So right now, I am doing my I'm doing my master's in economics from TERI School of Advanced Studies. The reason why I chose to study in this particular institution was in the final years of my bachelor's. When I was doing my thesis, I was working on the domain which was related to sustainability. So I ended up in an institution that is actually known for working in this domain for more than 50 years. I thought this peers from this particular institution would give me more insight before entering into this career. So till now, I'm still navigating the path. I'm trying to leverage my previous academic background and other diverse experiences that I've been, like the organizations I was interning, and building my skills so that I can meaningfully contribute to the organizations that will value innovation and sustainability. So that's it from my end as an intro. Thank you.
Okay, that's very impressive. I tell you, it is very impressive. I'm not just saying it. I hardly ever speak in these Vidpeds, as you know. It is very impressive. Tell us a bit more about the struggles. You have told us about your successes, which is great. But let's hear your personal side, the struggles. You said you were not conventional. Let's hear a bit about you, not on the success side alone, but how you made it there.
Initially, I can say I am very privileged to have my parents who were always behind me supporting. My parents were not graduates. My mom has not been to school because in the family it is like women were not sent to school, even though her family is well off with money, but they didn't allow her to study. So in case of my father, he studied, he has done his diploma, but due to family pressures, he couldn't finish his graduation. So, but still, they're working at to financially support us. So, initially, when you are taking a decision with regards to your education, most of the time it's your parents, right? But in my case, it was me alone who was responsible for any of the academic decision which I was taking. So, it was me doing everything for the first time. So, whatever I do, I have a younger brother, so that would set an example for him as well. So whenever I was taking every step, I always had to rely on people outside, not my family directly, because my family was my moral support, financial support. But when it comes to academically, they were like, do what you are interested in and do what you think you can do it. So that I won't say it as a struggle, but as a person who, when you are navigating the less traveled path and you don't have someone who has already done it in your surrounding area, like I stayed in Hyderabad for my till my bachelor's. Right now I'm in Delhi, but the area which I stayed didn't have many of economic graduates. So if I had to take economics as a career, I was like initially very doubtful. I was relying on a lot of people online and asking professors, because I found professors. Professors, I can say, are my guiding light even till now. So it is very difficult to navigate as a person when you're dealing with it for the first time. I would say if I was like I was in my 12th grade during the corona time. So the very crucial decision of choosing your bachelor's was something that happened during lockdown. And I could say lockdown has actually put a lot of things down, but for me lockdown has been a very great kickstart, because sitting in my home I could contact someone who was in other country, because lockdown virtually opened doors for me to talk to a lot of people through various organizations which I work. If I could name my like I am honestly, because I was in a lot of debate societies, I guess I was never afraid to speak to someone who is new.
Yeah.
I am never I am never afraid. I
Yeah.
just go ahead because I'm clear with the person who I'm talking. So why do we need to fear when you have the confidence to speak? Okay, you might be wrong on the first stance, but you'll correct yourself on the next sentence. This is what drives me. So I joined this organization as a delegate in their conferences. It's called India's International Movement to Unite Nations. So it's like India's first youth-led organization that conducts model United Nations conferences. So I participated as a delegate, and my uh, result was actually selected as the best, and I was awarded the best delegate for the Hyderabad conference. So they have called me suddenly on one fine day in lockdown, because the conferences were not happening physically. IIMN chose to conduct organizations virtually. So they wanted someone who can help with conducting organizations uh, virtually. So I have told them that I'll join the team. The organization headquarters are in Bombay. So I was initially started, and then I got to meet when we were virtually meeting on Zoom. It was something new. We never did
Yeah.
Zoom before. So it was very nice, because I was sitting in my home, and I was talking to a lot of other delegates like me, or someone who has participated for Mumbai chapter, someone who has participated for Delhi chapter, someone who has participated for
Mm.
Chennai chapter. So I made a lot of new friends, from diverse backgrounds, talking to them every day, I understood what a person of my age is doing in a different location. So that gave me a confidence to go in and take new paths. So with like that, I have organized work with them, organized virtual conferences. Through that, I built a lot of connections, networking. So it paved a path to understand different careers. And then lockdown was lifted, and I was I chose to study my bachelor's in economics because I met a lot of people who were economic graduates who are working with IIMU then, and I talked to them. I asked them how will it be to study economics in bachelor's, and they have explained it so well because they were someone who was studying economics at that time. So I could understand how diverse the subject is, how deep you can go, and there are a lot of branches. As economics is the mother of social sciences, it's it's a very huge tree, so you can explore a lot. And as my personal character is also something like trying different things, so it resonated so well. So I ended up choosing bachelor's. Initially I got admission into other colleges in a different state, but my parents were afraid of sending me out at that time, out of the state, because it was lockdown and a lot of students were stuck. And then that didn't let my mom send. So I took an admission in the nearby university called IBS Hyderabad, which also has a very great curriculum, and that is our RBI Governor Rangarajan sir, who was our faculty as well. So I guess IBS has provided me a lot opportunities when I was doing my bachelor's as well. So that's how I ended up doing my bachelor's in
Just a second,
economics.
Pavani, is IBS Indian Business School or something like that? What is?
Yeah, it's ICFI Business School. There is ISB and IBS.
Okay.
So Hyderabad has two things. ISB is that Indian School of Business, but I studied in ICFI School of Business.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And so let's continue.
There, because the curriculum was way more different, it had a lot of subjects which were not just conventional economic subjects. Okay, micro, macro are the very much of foundation. So in the first few semesters, it was with the basics, were making a student understand the concepts very well. But we also had subjects like understanding the bringing technology into picture, because in economics we have a lot of softwares which we use, but most of the time uh, in the bachelor's the students are not introduced to study R Studio or Stata SPSS. But university has taken this initiative and provided us, even in our third semester itself, we have started learning R. And that actually was very much interesting because in my 10th, I guess I've done my coding in 10th as well, because in my school there was this opportunity to learn Python, C++, Java. So I guess I've done, so I had a bit of knowledge there and interest. So I guess here also it fueled my interest to learning it even more better and using it practically with the data set. So that made the course even more interesting. And I have also taken this course on market microstructure to understand it even more deeper, and financial markets. So financial markets were very much interesting. Our college had collaboration with Bloomberg, so we were given access to the Bloomberg terminal as well. So understanding the basics of the terminal, it was way more fascinating compared to other course structures. So it was a great ride, I can say. And at the same time, being a business school, there were very much of extracurricular activities as well, case study competitions. And I was also a part of the economic society there. I was working on the ideation department. So we have one of the best works I can say as a being a part of the ideation team was there were a lot of competitions which we organized, but one which became a hit and I was a part of that was we have Monopoly as a game, right? So we sat together with other two people of my team and designed Econopoly. Like we put the companies into the monopoly structure and then had a very human sized monopoly thing kind on the ground. And because our college has a lot of different branches as well, there's engineering, there's law, there's architecture, there's MBA as well. And there's BCom, and there's psychology department. So we invited everyone to participate, and then a lot of economic topics were explained. And then that was a very successful event. And I'm proud that I've done something creative being in that society. And case study competitions, I participated in that as well. And it was kind of difficult when I was uh, doing a lot of activities together with my bachelors, because there were a lot of students in my own class who are very much concentrated only on academics. And because you are maintaining your consistency till your 12th grade, like you were a topper in your 12th grade, and now when you enter into your bachelor's, there are students who are only focused on your studies, so they tend to score the top marks. And now you're trying to do so many things, like you have so many things on your plate. So I there were situations where I was falling short with the academics, but at the same time I was having a lot of things on my plate. There is diversity in my resume, but I was not on par with them. So that was like a burning fuel for me inside. I was like, why should I not do? I was the topper of the class. I should be the topper again.
Yeah.
So it was a burn off for me initially, because doing so many things, and also because economics being a very rigorous subject, initially for the first semesters I couldn't face any kind of problem. But when mathematics and calculus, mathematical economics enters, you have to give a lot of your attention to it. So that's where I had to burn a lot, uh, study a lot of concepts, and also do my other activities. So I tried my level best to learn. YouTube was my a very great source. My professors were diamonds, I can say, because every professor on the campus were were answering any kind of question at any point of time. The communication with my professors was something which helped me till today. I still have connections. I still contact my professors, and I'm very thankful to one of the senior professor, Professor Gullagari Ramakrishna. So he is a senior most professor. He was he was very old, but still he used to give us 3 hour standing lecture. He was a statistics professor. So statistics is something, if you really don't understand, you don't enjoy the subject. He made the subject to be very much interesting. And I have done a lot of projects under him to understand statistics. And I've done courses from Duke University as well. He helped me out and in doing the project, capstone project with the Duke University as well. So I'm very thankful to him, because he is someone who has helped me out till even now.
Okay. And then how did you decide to go to TERI?
TERI, as I've mentioned briefly in the introduction, so in bachelor's, you have to give your finish your thesis and give the presentation. So during that year, there was this free travel scheme for women in Telangana. The newly formed government has come up with this scheme that women can travel for free in the public transport. So I thought of going up initially with analyzing how the women employment has increased with this free travel scheme. But during that process, I have gained this interest into observing the environmental aspect as well, because public transport on a very large scale goes with the environmental aspects. So I've started studying a lot of papers, and I found the dots were connecting at some point to the environment. So I've done my thesis in that uh, domain. So when I gave my presentation, my professor really liked it, and he was like, "See, India is transitioning and giving more importance to environment and climate at this point of time. So why don't you take up this particular area and study more, understand it more? Because India is transitioning more into this particular aspect. This would have more demand and opportunities in future." And at the same time, there was a seed funding for PhD students in my university who are working on Adivasis and their contribution to environmental protection. So I was just a graduate, but I had a PhD friend. So I just randomly asked her, because she received the seed funding. I read the abstract which he submitted, and I thought it's very interesting. Why don't I give? Because I'm finished with my graduate, I was just waiting for my results to come. So I had a very good gap where I could do something, and obviously busy with my college applications for my masters. But I had some time, and I was also reading something which is related to environment and protection with regards to environment. So I asked her if I could join her in that uh, project. So I went with their team to the northern Telangana. Northern Telangana is known for the rich tribal groups which are still existing in Telangana. So this tribe called Gond,
Yeah.
which is protecting the Adilabad district, the forestry. So I've gone there with them. I stayed in the tribal region for like 15 days. So during that time, I could see how to be honest, they have very much less facilities. They're living more than like 20 years behind what we are living. Interacting with them gave me an opportunity to understand the current dynamics, what they have, and also what are the traditional techniques which they are using to protect the environment. Initially, there was this thought process of understanding the financial inclusion aspect for the tribals, which was
Yeah.
my personal aspect. So I was the major project idea for my PhD seniors was to study the environmental aspect. But on a personal note, I was making use of the data and the people available, because they were going to interview more than 500 people. I thought, why don't I utilize this opportunity to understand and study the uh, financial aspect as well with that. So I was looking at how women particularly were major catalysts in uh, in building their families, helping their families, and also being a catalyst in protecting the environment. So that particular experience only has given me like how sustainable they were. No one has taught them sustainability. It's their ancestors who have taught them how to protect their nature, and how to have, like, now these days this zero waste agriculture is something which has become popular, but they have been doing that since a very, very long time. They have been using every waste into something new. They're creating something out of the waste. So female have played a very major role in this particular tribe, because we have interviewed more than 500 women. Already the population is very less, but still the women are very strong, physically very strong, and they were working in the agriculture fields, very vast agriculture fields. They were doing step by step agriculture, because the region is mostly small hilly region. So they were very much diverse in their technique. But one thing which I observed was they are not very much open to do something new, which would give them financial returns. Because the Adilabad region is mostly black soil. Black soil has this ability to produce anything because it's very, very rich. But they're restraining themselves to growing only cotton or soya, which traditionally their ancestors have been growing, or vegetables for just for subsistence or selling in the domestic market. They're not making use of it to grow something commercial. I know cotton is a commercial crop, but still, most of the time, because the education is something which is missing in the elderly or the people who are farming, when the grading system of cotton comes, they are being exploited. Even though they are growing something, a better grade cotton, they are getting the market cost of a grade 2 or grade 1 cotton. So they are being exploited in that aspect. And they're very well aware that they are being exploited. This was a very shocking fact because I've heard it from them itself that I am being exploited, but I don't have any option because I can't. There are political aspects as well which are included. When I was talking to them on a personal level, I just stayed for 15 days, but it has given me a lot of areas which were connecting to sustainability and finance. So I thought, why don't I study here? Because I've seen a lot of researchers in TERI, senior researchers who have worked on the projects related to this. I thought my communication would be easier if I study in an institute that is here, uh, which is already working for more than 50 years. So I thought after coming here, I understood the importance of uh, research and how people have been working on ground in addressing these problems. So I personally hope I join the team and learn from them and be a part of projects in future.
Okay, great. I'm really proud of you. It's something to hear a young woman speak the way you do. You say you are good at public speaking, and you are. And you're not afraid to, you don't have false modesty to say, no, I'm okay. No, you say, no, I'm a topper. It's good to to be a topper and to be able to say with pride that I'm a topper. So I'm really happy that you have told us all of these things, and your desire to go into sustainability. And TERI, of course, is world famous, no question about it. And it's a great place to be. So your future is assured. So what is your hints to younger people?
I am also a part of that. So
No, I mean those who are in
I
11th, 12th, first year BA, the next, already they are the next generation.
I would say I've been learning everything with a trial and error method. So don't be afraid to try and face an error. You try, there's a 50-50 opportunity every time in anything you do, even with 100% of effort, is what I've realized. So if you're doing something, if you want to take up a new subject, for example, give your 100%. I know it will be difficult to give 100% in the beginning itself, but try to connect it with your daily life. Try to make examples which you can explain it to a random person who doesn't even understand that subject. In my case, I used to explain the topics of economics to my mother. Every day after coming home, I had this perception that if I can explain my mother, then I can explain it to anyone in this world and I can work it off.
Yeah.
So this was my everyday routine. Listen sincerely to whatever you want to do, collect resources, because we are living in an era where sitting at this position, sitting at any corner, nook and corner of this world, you can get data on anything what you want to learn about. So try to find resources. If you don't have, your own peer or your own professor is a vast knowledge hub. Talk to them. I relied completely on my professors. I would blindly go sit, ask for their time, request for their time, most of the because they are very busy. But I value their time. So they will value your time if you diligently listen to them and give a feedback after doing your work. So I used to do that very sincerely. Keep up with the latest updates on what you want to do. Keep studying. Newspaper is a very good thing which my dad has and my grandfather as well. So every day I used to read newspaper, and reading newspaper is something very important, I could say, for a lot of people, because I have my juniors. One day we had a conversation and they were like, "Oh, you can read it in short, May. Why are you reading the physical newspaper?" Then I was like, I might sound very old, but reading physical newspaper gives that vibe. I don't know, for some reason. Even now here in the campus, every day breakfast time, for the first time I'm staying in hostel. So I always stayed till my bachelor's with my parents. So I used to get newspaper every day. We have like the Telugu newspaper, because I used to stay in Hyderabad. So there was Eenadu Telugu newspaper, and then there was Hindu. So two newspapers, because my parents used to study Telugu and they wanted me to study newspapers. So, and they wanted me to study Hindu. So they have uh, initially forced me to do it, but I have picked up that habit, and I'm 100% sure, because reading newspaper and keeping yourself updated makes you confident. Because wherever you go, you can be confident because you have that database information stored in your brain, so you won't be afraid. That is something which is very important, I can say. And that's, I don't think so. It's just try, fail, learn.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pavani. I think we can end it here today. It has been a great pleasure to listen to you. My hunch right at the beginning of starting this, the young people have a lot to say. You have proved it right. And you have told us quite a lot. So let's end it here today. I want to talk to you a bit offline, and then I'll be
Yes.
back with another young person or an expert soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.